Blanc. We're going live right now. So, you can't minimize your Zoom when you're recording this meeting. Huh. That's a new feature.
Huh. This doesn't sound like a feature. It sounds like a limitation. But
sounds like a nuisance.
How am I meant to read our structure? I don't even know what we're talking about.
Why would you not be able to minimize what?
I think we're talking about Hogwarts. No. Aliens? What was it we're talking about?
Yeah, we were talking about how you were abducted by aliens.
Guys,
okay,
yeah, you got abducted by aliens.
Okay,
let me fix up my second display with my HDMI, and then I'm gonna like put A and B, so then I actually have a. You're just gonna see me look over here a lot.
It's such a good feature that you need to find an alternative. Yeah, you need to fix it. Yeah.
This is what you only get with the premium.
10 out of 10.
This is a premium feature, Pete.
Yeah. This is why we use Zoom over Skype, definitely. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Once you plug in the HDMI, then you can minimize it.
Oh.
Anyway,
I'm sure there's some kind of. I don't think that's a thing. I think there's some kind of confusion. Whatever.
So today we are joined by a special guest today. First of all, Pete, how you doing? I like to say this every episode. Pete, how are you doing?
And my response is always, yeah. Not bad. Yeah,
alrighty then.
I'm okay.
You guys all know me. Anyway, Rahaf Ramdhan, hello.
What's
lovely
up,
to have you
guys? On. Hello.
So, thanks for joining us. We have one of our special guests, colleague, friend, who we've worked with, played games with. She's going to provide some additional insight. Yay! So it's going to have like a exactly. So, I think you know what we're discussing, right? Like that would be kind of weird if you didn't. Yeah, everyone knows. Okay, so we're doing Valheim. I've labeled it the Titan of survival and crafting, but the dwarf of combat and bosses. Deep dive. What do you think of my title? Is it okay?
Yeah, it's fine. It's melodramatic.
Okay. It's very creative. How long did it take you to come up with it?
About 3 seconds, but
yeah,
that's just how my
brain works. I thought as much.
So, once again, before we crack on, so we're finally on YouTube. I just want to mention this in the next few episodes just to make sure everyone knows. So you're welcome to interact with us there and place comments, etc., etc. We're now on our 11th episode. Yay! Ooh. 11 is more important than 10 because it's one high.
Certainly not. But yeah.
Lastly, make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, SauvignoncAst and _Sauvignon Blanc. We're going to start talking about Valheim. I think... at least for me, the main reason I want to talk about this game is because it's took everything by storm, and it's just like the biggest game right now. And they've hit 6 million sales, which is insane since it's been out 6 weeks. That's 1 million a week. And us three have put a sizable amount of hours into the game now. Yeah. How long have you guys played it for now?
I don't know. A while. Should I check my Steam?
Yeah, please. Just for argument's sake.
All right.
Because I think collectively we might be at 300 or 400. I think
300 or 400. Oh, you mean adding it together? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's important to share like how many hours individually. Then people will know at least from when we review and talk where are we at in the game.
We're probably not as far. We're not that, but we still have.
We have a lot to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got 2 more biomes, I think. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for your clear answers.
We've actually, Josh and I have accidentally gone to one of those new ones, the plains, and it was horrible.
Oh yeah, that was very good.
That was horrible. We'll discuss that later.
That certainly was bad.
Good thing you came back alive.
I have 78 hours.
Jesus.
I also have 78.6.
Wow.
Jesus, I feel like the loser here. I've got like a 60, I think. Okay. Anyway, how are we currently feeling about the game? I wanted to have a quick short section in the intro, like what's your current sentiment? What's your thoughts currently? Not prior, where you started loving it or you're excited for the future of the game. What about right now? Anything you're just liking?
Would like to go ladies first, I guess.
Who takes the wheel?
Yeah, go ahead.
Current thoughts are it's very addictive and I can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
However, past 2 days I have been getting a bit bored, maybe because of the repetitive nature of it.
Yeah.
But I think I've left it for a day now and I'm getting that
You'll be back soon.
That urge to play it again. So yeah, it's coming back. It's coming back.
Yeah, it really does hurt to you. It really does. What about you, Pete?
Yeah, I still really enjoy it. It's not so much the repetitive aspects which bother me. It's a gameplay loop. It doesn't bother me that much. The reason I still really enjoy it, but the reason I don't think it's like the best thing ever anymore is because I feel like the exploration aspects wear off after a while. I don't know, mostly because the biomes they look nice as a poster, as a backdrop, but when you're walking through them, it kind of gets all a little bit samey, and then you're like, another black forest, another swamp. But the thing is, whatever issues I have with it, the only issues are uh, that I would like some more creativity when it comes to designing or building, and I'd like some more exploration. And actually, it seems like they know exactly where their flaws are, because the next updates they have on the roadmap are one which helps with design, the Harf update, and they're also going to have a quest line story, like DLC for free. So yeah, I'm still looking forward to the future of the game, frankly.
Excuse me. Not in relation to your comment. I very much think that was some good points. And for me personally, I actually think I agree with Pete quite strongly. I, however, think this is still one of the best games of 2021, 2020.
Yeah,
Maybe.
no, it's
It's
very
such
good.
an
Yeah.
amazing
Very
out of the ashes kind of like experience.
Mhm.
What do you guys can we talk a little bit about our current builds and projects that we've done? Like in terms of what we're the most what's our best, because obviously the building is something we're going to discuss after this, but what's your I know we're all independently working on builds.
Yeah, we have one server that we're sharing and we're
Yes.
playing together, but then we also have our own personal ones where we
Yeah.
do stuff. Yeah.
I mean, maybe it would be possible post-recording we could take some screenshots. That would be very cool for the video.
And then we can like put them on the screen somewhere here.
But
Yeah.
for reference, could you guys just what you guys been building? Because I think the building is, as you agree, I'm sure, is amazing. So we've been building.
Yeah.
Someone take it. Just don't matter.
Yeah.
Jump in. Go.
Okay, I'll go first. I don't actually know what you can call my structure. It's pretty strange. It's like a hybrid of a castle, a longhouse, a watchtower, and a harbor, all put together
Ooh.
in this almost magical looking place. And I've got boars. I was able to get some piggies, and I got my little honey farm. All my bees are very happy in this open wide area.
When aren't the bees happy, out of curiosity?
They're not happy if you put them in a tight, closed space.
So they're claustrophobic, eh?
Yeah, they're very claustrophobic.
Alrighty then. And yourself, Pete?
Well, I've already shown y'all what I've built, but I've built like a concept area. I wanted to turn into like a series of villages with harbors in different areas that connect, and I've given like some stupid lore to some of them, but there's like a selection of the map where I call it like the bastard village or the bastard biome, where the lore behind it is that it's like Loki's place and it's anti Odin and the gods. And I've built like a longhouse there with a harbor, and I built like a little beach house. And all of them have smelter areas. And then I have another section which is supposed to be like Odin's area with the rest of the gods and that's where I built the biggest longhouse. I think I built a longhouse which goes like I don't know, like 6 core logs upwards and across. And yeah, I built it. That area reminded me of like Ravenswort from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's like a village literally by the river. And it had like I built like a huge harbor. It was like the first area I built which was genuinely huge, and I learned how structures work and core logs, etc. And then you can take a right, and the smelter has his own house, and on the left is a longhouse, and it has 2 stories. But because I couldn't figure out the stairs because of the stupid way I built it, I just put a portal to the first floor and left it at that. So if you want to go to the first floor, you have to go for a portal. Yeah,
I was gonna say, like, you should contact some of the best retail stores about your brand new forms of doors, because I'm sure they'd be interested in it. 'Cause this is I've never seen a portal and then like imaginatively just like up like
just something. Yeah, exactly.
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So actually, this leads in perfectly to topic one. So I was thinking the majority of the reason why I think most people love the game is building, because this game has done it so well. I would like to talk about, let's split this into 3 sections if we can. So this is topic one. It's going to be building, construction, creativity. I'd like to get everyone's just kind of general views. And then what do you want to be changed? So as of right now, I don't think nothing's perfect, and let's face it. So maybe we have some ideas perhaps in the back of our skulls of what could be made better. I'll go first, just by the way. So for me personally, I think the building in this game is absolutely incredible. I really enjoy it, actually. I'm trying to build like crazy stuff like spiral staircases, circular buildings. I'm trying to build bridges. But I'm always encountering one issue, but I know it's technically solvable, but I really struggle with support beams. And I really struggle with actually trying to get structures stable. Because this game has a very in-depth, it tries to get you to properly build stuff with supports and structural beams, etc. But for me personally, I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense. It's kind of like along like a 10 block rate, what would you say? Along a 10 block line, placing one beam A and B will not support C. But if you place it, for example, let's say in the opposite fashion, it may support the end. It doesn't actually correlate. So I think it needs to be a bit more clarified. That would be nice for me, at least. So, maybe what they could do is add some new blocks that actually are specifically support beams or something that actually just make things a lot more easier to build. And on the top of that, one more thing I'd love to see is some better implementation with mining, where you can make caves and tunnels. I think this is something that should have been added to the game itself. But for me, love the building. It's probably one of the main reasons I keep coming back. Is we've always found this, like, you want to build something. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of a bad throat this morning. But we would travel to like a black forest and would say, right, we need to establish a sleeping station, right? We need to somewhere we can sleep. And you end up building like a goddamn mansion with like a harbor and a cook and whatever. It's just amazing. What about you guys?
I agree on the mine shaft thing. I'd love if you could build mine shafts and caves, etc. But I believe that there is not a flaw of a core way in which the game world works and is built that prevents underground structures from being built. And that would require, I imagine, like a complete rework of the engine to allow it. And I don't know. I don't know if I want it that much that they focus their efforts on this over something else. That's just my personal opinion.
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Of course, I'd love it if it was easy to do. I love the support beam system. I think it's cool because I feel like it's what differentiates it from Minecraft, say, because you have creative capability, but you have to kind of think like, I don't know, like some kind of discount architect or engineer. Like you have to think of how you can place this. You have to think. Yep. You can't just imagine a structure and build it. You have to imagine a structure and imagine the ways if it is actually possible for it to be built like that.
Can I just add? I like it. It's nonsensical sometimes. That's all. Yep. Sometimes you put a beam up and it does absolutely nothing. Sometimes you put one on this side of the wall and it supports this side. It is like that. So for me, it's nonsensical and it does need some overhaul. But I like it overall.
And yeah, the only thing that I would like is because it's cool I like building stuff, but what I like even more is designing stuff, and that's what I'm expecting, and that's thankfully the first update. I want more ways to personalize my place. You know, I want it to look entirely unique. I don't know. Other than that, I think it's such a great building system. It's like so well structured, and yeah, that's my conclusion.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. At the start, Josh, I did find the whole support system terrible. I couldn't work it out at the start, but as I progressed on, as I started creating bigger structures, I kind of worked it out, and now I actually really like it, and I like putting support beams everywhere to support my beautiful structure. I feel like an architect. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like a real Viking. What I want is windows. This is a bit of a I just want windows because I feel like the structure looks a bit boring.
Sorry, my mic was muted. Windows, I said.
Windows, yes, I want windows.
The thing is, like I don't think in that era it is possible to have glass like that, right?
It doesn't have to have glass.
I mean,
can
it
just
it
be-
can, but you have to go towards like I don't know the latter half of the Viking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I just want windows for the,
I just want windows.
decorative purposes. And to stop my characters from getting smoked, 'cause-
This is what's gonna ruin Valheim. Nobody will play anymore
No
because there's no
windows.
windows.
Exactly, where's the windows? Also, I would really like new roof options.
Yeah.
I
Oh
think
my
of
god. Yeah.
the Thatcher 90-degree roof. I keep using every day. I would like other roofing options, and yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
personally would really
Mhm.
like.
Let me add on to that roof theory. All right, we got some here. Hopefully, the developers will come across this beautiful podcast. So
They better.
in The Sims, there's this automative system where
Yeah.
it puts the roof up based on how many walls you have and where the walls
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
That would be good in Valheim if you could somehow map the walls with a tool, and then the roof just went poof. You can have this design, this design, this design, whatever. That would
Right.
be cool.
But if you're building an irregular structure, that can lead to insane frustration.
Yeah.
Like remember the forest when we wanted to build that roof, but like the roof kept on going over in like nonsensical ways. That's really automation is dangerous. I don't know. All I need for the roof is just some different material. Frankly,
Yes.
I don't want it to look like a Hansel and Gretel witch house. Like I want it to look
Yeah.
like.
I would
more.
like it if you could build like circular roofs, and I'd like to see teepees as well.
Mhm.
That would be cool.
Like actual longhouses, because longhouses had like a circular thing going on
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. All right. I put this into the building creativity discussion. I think it's kind of relevant because, of course, when you're mining or wood cutting or whatever you're doing, you're leveling up. What do you guys think about the leveling system in this game? So for me personally, doesn't hit much,
Nope.
sadly.
Pain in the backside.
Yeah.
I remember there was one point in our gameplays where we would just sit and just stab each other because you get your skills up. And that's literally what you do.
Yeah, I was like, Josh, can you just stand there for a second? I
Yeah.
want to level up my sword.
Stab.
I just want to level up my sword. Pete, just stand there. I just want to level up my sword. Give me 5 minutes. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. You get better at the things you do, right? So it works. I just think that you don't see the gains as much as you should.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Yeah.
It makes it like I sound like a workout guru now, but yeah.
What if
Yeah,
you
no,
like
but-
got a power when you
Yeah.
hit like level 50 that lets you once every 10 seconds knock a tree down with one hit?
Yeah, get more
that'd be
abilities
good.
and just actual distinct gains. Like you could build like a build system. Like if you invest in archery, maybe you can shoot more than one arrow at the same time, or something of that sort. But by far my biggest issue, this is stuff that would be nice to have. This is quality of life, but something that I think is genuinely horrible is the fact that when you die, you lose so much of your skill.
skills, yeah.
And it's just so frustrating when you die in some stupid way. and then
Getting bit by a
then
leech.
you get thrown back to like a useless pleb just because your skill drain is so high. I
Yeah.
don't care like if about all the hardcore survivalists are like, yeah, well then don't die. Like you're supposed to prepare and like, sure, man, but I'm also trying to have fun here. Like I don't know.
That's some good advice.
Yeah.
Don't die, Luke.
Yeah.
For me personally, I feel like when you die, that's already enough of a setback because you've got to obviously walk all the way back to where you died, which is likely to be at least 1 billion years away.
Yeah. However, it has led, you gotta admit, it has led to some funny parts where we've died in weird areas and you
Yeah.
had to come pick me up so we can go back. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. Yeah.
Okay. Shall we move on to? I'm really excited about talking about this because I want to just say one tiny detail. So I think for me, this game is very, very, very good. But with deep talks, you have to bring to light issues. So I think it's more important to focus on issues, really.
Everybody
topic two-
knows this game is great. So
Yeah, it's not like anyone actually thinks this game's bad.
Mhm.
It's overwhelmingly positive on Steam. So
Very. Yeah.
So critique is cool. Yeah, let's go.
So, topic 2, bosses, weapons. I hate outside world. So topic 2 is I hate outside world. Are you guys ready for this?
Yeah.
That's one way to make it seem kind of cool so you don't have to cut it out. Okay, so topic 2 is bosses, weapons, combat, and gameplay. I try to put all of the most essential ones into the topic, I guess, but this is easy for me because for me, bosses are amazing. They're so cool. I'm so happy they're in the game. Although they suck. But
they're cool, but they suck.
But the idea of having like a sandbox world where you actually have like objectives to complete is very good. For me, I'm just gonna give my thoughts first and let you guys go ham. So for me, in regards to weapons, I think the bow is too mandatory. You have to use it in a lot of ways, and I don't like that. That's not really diversifying the weapon pool. It's everyone needs to have a bow, and to be honest, it's probably the best weapon because you want to stay away from things at all times. I was thinking actually, how many ranged entities are there in the game, excluding like bosses as such? Granted, not up to the plains yet, just on the swamp. So there's.
I think most of them have some kind of ranged capability, even though some of them are shit, like the darlings, as we call them. we call the greatlings and we call them darlings. They throw rocks, for example, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah, but they don't do much damage to them.
No.
And I think that's the last thing I'm going to mention.
Skeletons, I think, they shoot arrows.
They shoot arrows and they hurt. Their arrows hurt.
and Draugr do as well.
Yeah,
technically
they do as well. Yeah.
And then you've got like slime that jump at you if you consider that range. So anyway, I wanted to just say quickly, one thing that really drives me nuts about this game is how there's one particular enemy that is literally its only life purpose is to annoy you. And it's the case with Draugrs, and it's the case with Grey Dwarves, and it seems the case with Deathsquitos, which we covered once.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to me like they're very nice things. So yeah.
Here's the issue with. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's their sole purpose in life is to piss you off. Yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that. Here's the issue of territory we're starting to embark on. Whilst I agree with you, these things are annoying and they suck. It's kind of the point of the game. You're supposed to be like a witcher or a monster hunter, where you have to prepare for the areas you go into, and if you prepare, you're not going to die, most likely. And if you actually train and know your capabilities, etc., things become much easier. And I don't know, a lot of people seem to like that. Like, I feel that's kind of the core of the game. And I know complaining about it, I don't know, it doesn't seem right. It feels like I'm like an outsider who doesn't like these things and I'm influencing the game in a negative way. But I do agree it's annoying. The only thing that I think that actually needs to be improved is the core fighting system or the core combat system, because it's really rudimentary and therefore uninteresting. If it had like some more complex mechanics to it, maybe it wouldn't be like as annoying. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, can I just add one last thing to that? I really started to like the whole blocking system. I've started using it now that I'm against Draugrs. It seems really useful. So as long as they're not 2-star, you can block, you can parry them. So generally speaking, you can parry and then you can 3-hit with like a good weapon on a Draugr. So I found that's like pretty cool. It kind of spices up the combat a little, but I get your point that some things most of the time, at least for a long time in the game, it's very like, okay, just run around, dodge them, kite them, whack, whack, run around, dodge them, kite them, whack, whack, run around, dodge. Yeah, you get my point.
That's literally it. Yeah.
Rahaf, what's your thoughts?
I agree with both of you guys. The enemies, although they're really annoying, they're part of what makes Valheim.
Yeah.
I would really like it if what they drop becomes a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, especially when you're fighting an army of Grey Dwarves or the Shamans, what they drop is not worth all that effort. So I just wish that maybe the Shaman, if they were able to drop poison, for example, so you can make some kind of mead out of it, that would have been really, really cool, especially earlier on in the game. But the fact that they just drop the usual rocks, wood, and great dwarf eyes kind of makes it a bit underwhelming. So that's my only nitpicky thing about it.
I completely agree with that. And I'll tell you what, once you took out an army of them and then you get rewarded with 6 pieces of wood, 3 coal, 10 resins or whatever, you're like, what the fuck, man? What's the point?
What's the point?
Plus, there's even some which don't drop anything. Like the ghost and the wraiths. Like
they don't drop anything.
Literally, like I saw it in like a far one the first time we saw it, and I was like, let's kill it. Let's see what it drops. And it was a hard battle, and it didn't drop anything.
Yeah. I actually went into I've told you guys this. I went into the mountain, the snowy mountains, and I fought. It's not called a werewolf. I can't remember what it's called. It's Furling or something like that. It's basically like a werewolf.
Furling.
And I fought him. Yeah,
sounds like a kink.
Yeah. So I fought him. I died like 6 times because he was so strong. But once he died, he dropped nothing. Literally dropped nothing. And I was so disappointed. I was in tears. I was like, literally half an hour of fighting you dropped nothing.
No
I'm so disappointed. I will never play this game again. And I played it like an hour later. So.
Of course. Plus like some mobs, they become useless after a while. Like the trolls, big fuckers who are like supposed to be fun and like dangerous to fight. And then they just keep on dropping troll hide, which you don't need.
After you create your.
And it's easy to fix. What if once you reach a certain level or you killed a certain boss, what if they start having armor on them and they drop armor, like they drop iron or bronze or something like that? It's just it seems obvious.
It's just scaling the items that it drops, and it's quite easy to implement. I think.
Yeah.
I hope the devs are on that, because that's a really great way to make troll fighting still interesting. And any kind of mob fighting interesting and still rewarding. So that's great idea.
They're a nuisance right now. Every time a troll appears, I'm like, oh god, another troll. Do you guys think they look a bit Smurfy? They look like Smurfs.
Like big
just derpy.
They just look like really big Smurfs.
Of course, the most annoying thing about them is that they break your shit. Like you have to put yourself in danger so you can lead them away from your buildings. Yeah.
Not my house, guys. Please.
Anyways, guys, what about magic? Could this game have magic in? Because I'm a sucker for magic.
Yeah, it's a mythical world. It's not Earth. Like a mythical world of creatures. Of course, there can be magic. I feel like they'll definitely implement that down the line.
You need some magic, man. I was thinking like a couple of abilities I would personally add in, and this probably based on some Bioshock and Elder Scrolls thinking. But what if you have like a blink, and you can hold it in your left hand with your sword or whatever, and you could just jump and you just teleport like 2 meters in front of you.
Really?
Very useful.
Bioshock? That's Dishonored, mate, right?
Well, actually, Blink is in everything from even League of Legends, so
That's true. I guess I associate it.
Yeah. So, Blink. What about like some fire abilities? Just would like to. You could like shoot arrows from your hand. That would be cool as well.
You know what would be dope if you could do like necromancy, where you can make a skeleton army to protect you or stuff like that.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
We should be the devs on this game. No, I'm kidding.
No. They're very good at it.
They are good.
Granted, you can actually do that with the wolves. You can create a wolf army.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe cool.
A boar army.
Right?
Yeah, I think I mentioned skeletons because I'm an edgy fucker.
Unfortunately, you cannot create an army out of boars, even though I'd love to have that. You just use them for food.
Boar army.
A boar army.
No, it'd be the best. A bee army, just a bunch of bees.
Well, that sounds great.
Attack bees.
Yeah.
Not just bees, queen bees.
Queen bees.
Yeah.
So I thought we would conclude on my favorite element of the boss's weapons combat and gameplay section. I love this idea. I just hope you guys agree. What's your thoughts on the stamina system?
Oh.
You think you're funny now, eh?
Yeah. A little bit, yeah.
You're gonna be on the late night show.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think we all agree. It's pretty annoying. It's pretty shit. Yeah.
It's like you need to regulate it, I guess, in some ways to make.
No, I mean, I'm not saying you should remove it. It's a survival element. It's part of the Dark Souls combat, but something like, because I love Dark Souls and I play a lot of games with stamina systems, but I don't mind it in that. The reason I think I mind it here is because of the way it's intrinsically tied to the fact that you have to run in this game and jump, etc. And that also impacts your stamina on top of the fact that you're fighting sometimes. and I always end up just out of stamina, just walking whilst, I don't know, a slime is coming after me, and it's so frustrating because it stops the game in its tracks. I don't know, they have to fix it in a way where it doesn't maybe drop as quickly, or you make it drop less for certain things, or maybe you can still run even if it's gone, or maybe you lose health, I don't know, slowly if it's gone, or something to keep you going. You can't just let the game stop like that.
Just one important factor that I've come to learn, as you do with Valheim, you learn new mechanics and stuff. What I've learned is your resting bonus or your comfort bonus is what corresponds with the way your stamina regens.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. I like that. I really do. I think that's very there's a lot of intuition with that, with real life, and that it makes sense. It's just I think the nature of the regeneration is a bit too flat. Like, it needs to be a bit more.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah,
because even if one of us in life or death situation, we could run for 10 kilometers without stopping if we need to. It's
sure.
Most people can, even if they want to admit it.
You know what else we can do? And this is crazy. We can swim without dying and drowning in like 1 minute.
I didn't think of that.
It's crazy.
I mean, I just tend to find it really funny when you're getting chased by this huge enemy, and your first instinct is to jog. Is to just jog,
just slightly jog.
Just slightly jog. It's like you're going for a morning run, and
actually, what if they had like a fear thing? Like if you're afraid because there's mobs behind you, you run faster, or you kind of beat the stamina.
Like a rush, yeah.
Or maybe you can get that with skills if you use skills.
Yeah.
And what's the point of the running skill? Like, you gain running skills, I think, later on. Yeah, like skills. Yeah, and then what's the point if I can't run faster, if I can't regain stamina faster when it comes to running? So
hey, maybe it's because we die so much that we never it always drops.
We always lose it. Yeah, it always loses it. Yeah.
I feel like there should be door opening skills at this point, because that's something I spend most of my time doing, just opening and closing my door.
It's like GTA.
Leave them open.
Smash the door.
Like, eventually, once you hit a certain level, you just slam the door, and your whole
it's like in GTA when you just slam the door, the car door open.
Yeah. Alrighty then. Okay.
Sorry. Or in Red Dead, when you enter a saloon in Red Dead, like you walk slowly and then you press sprint and you just break the.
It's so dramatic as well when you open the door.
And it's funny because when everybody looks at you, like, okay,
you're like, what did I do, guys?
Red Dead 2 is on sale now on Steam. It's like a 30-40% off, something like that. It's not bad.
I own it.
Good to know.
I'm mainly saying this for myself later when I watch this back, so I actually get it. I have played it, but I want to get it again on PC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, topic 3. So, by the way, we've got 7 topics to go through, so lots to talk about. The next thing I want to talk about is something that Pete kind of started highlighting, and that's the world. So, and we're going to go from the procedural generation aspects of the game to the biomes. Maybe we could talk a bit about dungeons and the abandoned huts, and what we want to see in the future. But let's start with the very core of the procedural generation. For me personally, I think it's absolutely astoundingly beautiful. Actually, in some instances, you'll come to a clearing and you'll see like the ocean. You'll see beautiful landscapes, and you're like, wow, I can build on this. And you have like your hair standing up on the back of your neck. You're like, this is fantastic. I love this game. But over time, it does become a little bit barren, a little bit empty, and that's kind of sad, I think, for me. What do you guys think about the biomes and the procedural generation? Any thoughts?
Rahaf, I already spoke about it a little bit.
I do agree with you, Pete, what you said earlier. At first, it looks amazing. It looks phenomenal, and you're so entranced by it, and but after like 10 minutes, it gets boring. You see the same rock, the same tree, the same water color over and over and over again. You see the annoying little shits, the annoying little enemies, coming towards you. It does get boring after a while. I would like it if we do progress on the biomes. I would really like it if you can see a different setting, if you get me. So at the start of the swamp, you see, shallow waters, and then later on the water gets deeper, the enemies get worse, the rocks get bigger and scarier, and the trees maybe are poisonous, the trees are a different color. I do think it's a bit repetitive in some areas. So
Like a bit
that's
of light
such a
on the
great
world.
idea. Sorry, but like imagine if all the biomes you come to, they have layers of unlockability to them. Like as time passes, you said, what if the swamp drains and then there's an underground area you can go to, or
really
cool.
I was just thinking with like the swamp, what if, or maybe even the plains, but probably swamp. What if the trees eventually started moving, like they're actually alive? Like that's freaky.
The elder is basically a moving tree.
Yeah,
what if all of them turn into the elder?
Oh no! I won't play the game. I'll close the game.
One thing I want to mention, and I want to mention it now, just in case I forget. I think the game is too big. First of all, I think it's huge actually. And one thing I've noticed, and I'm going to make a very awful comparison with Minecraft here. Minecraft had this in its biome system for a long time, but what they did eventually, I think at least. But then again, I might have played on console. Maybe that affected it. But anyhow, what they did then is they made biomes more closer together. So then you would most likely spawn in a meadows biome with a black forest here and a swamp here. And I thought that was cool because but obviously this game has the sailing mechanics. But for me, it's about that diversity of everything being close as well. So it's more interesting to be around one area. I don't know if you've
Plus, I don't know how this happened. How has procedural generation come back? Everybody, like Fast does it to a certain extent. Phasmophobia, I mean. Not a lot of things. A due process as well, another indie game which does it. This now, and everybody's suddenly praising it. Did we suddenly forget about what happened with No Man's Sky and how we all realized that procedural generation is actually a crock of shit? It is, but procedural generation is incredibly hard to do properly, and making something handcrafted is always better, in my opinion. I don't know, just like, even if the world is huge, if it mostly looks the same outside of maybe 15% of it, what's the point? Now, I understand it's because it's supposed to foster a feeling of exploration too, where you can sail to a different area to get resources, and the trader spawns in different places. I like that, but it's still too big. Maybe scale it back a little bit. The only solution is to scale it back, or they're going to have to add in a lot of new biomes, which is a lot of work. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's controversial what I'm saying.
No, kinda.
Yeah.
not too much. I wanted to add, so can we take like a little democratic vote here? So procedural generation versus handcrafting. What would you prefer in this game? Like, I think it's hard to say, of course, but if you could just use a bit of abstraction and think about it, like, for me, I think procedural generation, but more of it. That's kind of how I think.
More tiles, more,
Yeah, just more and more and more.
More, yeah.
No, because like I said, I do see why it's procedurally generated. It's not done as a gimmick to impress the player. There is a reason behind it, but maybe one that isn't compelling enough for me. I don't know. Unless they add more biomes and
I think
scale
it
it back.
works.
Yeah.
I think it works for Valheim.
Yeah. In regards to the updates, I might as well mention topic 5 here anyway. I don't think we need to discuss anything too detailed about it. There are at least 8 upcoming updates to the game, and this was Games Radar's publication on March 2021, very recent. And PC Gamer teased the Hearth and Home update. Still no ETA on that, but what we do know is it's going to focus on home building and cooking and farming. So if you're excited about these things, you can get your cooking pot and your chef hat on, because that's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
For me personally, I'm not too excited about the idea of cooking, if I'm honest, because I think the game itself has quite a complex and detailed cooking system. I really think it's quite good already. I wonder what they're going to go with this. You're going to get some salt and pepper shakers? What are they going to do with this next?
Sure, but then if it's a complex upgrade, then you can add another section to your house for specific things, etc. Maybe you can make wine. I don't know.
Think of that.
But I do agree. I am more interested, as I said, in the home part of this update.
In the building part, yeah.
That might include, like we mentioned, hopefully we'll call it here on the Sauvignon Blanc. Hopefully we'll have new beautiful roofs, and we'll have new supports and
more
like
banners. Maybe the ability to make.
Don't forget the windows, guys.
The windows. The windows.
Maybe to make like cave drawings or some kind of paintings, or I don't know. Maybe even like cosmetic upgrades for yourself. Like maybe you could add gems to your armor. Or, just personalize everything about yourself. And
that's something I want to see badly. Definitely, like almost Geralt of Rivia style, where you can put gems in your sword and that would be very good.
That'd be really good.
Okay, all right. So continuing on the procedural generation, could we talk a bit about dungeons and abandoned huts? Let's take dungeons first. So for me, dungeons, I think, are a missed opportunity. Actually, I think they are something that it has not been really worked on. I feel like they've put it in the game because they want to put it in the game. It's important, obviously, because what you get are certling cores and you get some loot for the trader. But for me, it seems like they kind of rushed it. But this is only from my experience of, let's say, 50, 60 hours. So maybe it gets better. Who knows? Feel free to show us in the comments if that's the case. I'd like to know. But for me, I think like they don't have much risk, or there's not much that changes. The enemy types are very simple and standard. And also the way it's a set tile piece, and nothing really changes in the dungeons. Of course, there is that one troll dungeon we've experienced, or I've experienced.
Yeah.
You guys agree with this?
Sure, but it doesn't bother me that much. Like, you go in, get your certling cores. It's all right. Yeah.
I think it's standard gameplay because I've explored many islands and I've done a lot of dungeons on my server, and it is the same thing over and over again. You get certain cores, you fight ghosts and skeletons, and I mean it's fun. Yeah, it serves its purpose, which is to get stuff for the trader.
You guys aren't thinking deep enough. Like, what about if, when you played Skyrim and you'd go into the crypts and the dungeons in this game? There was traps, there was new enemy types, there was always handcrafted.
But those were handcrafted.
Yeah, I get that. But at least have some diversity of different set tiles would be very nice. Maybe I'm asking too much. Maybe that's just a lot of unnecessary work they could put elsewhere.
I think however, to talk about the other part of what you just said, abandoned huts, I love that. I love that so much, especially when you start where you don't have the courage to build a house from scratch. You can just find one and renovate it and make like a little cozy area for yourself. And you find it in different areas, and it's just really nice to renovate places like you're a fixer-upper. And what I thought was the coolest is if you find like a village that already has like crops and like beehives, and you can just easily make a whole new village. I think that's cool,
I wonder if they'll add villages with actual maybe they're not neutral, maybe they are neutral, but if you get closer they attack you. But some guys in like some leather scraps or something, and they're just like trying to survive like you, and it just says NPC above the head or something. Is that a bad idea? I think that could be interesting. You could loot them as well, and maybe they're just kind of like living their life out on the plains or whatever,
Sure. I don't know.
Isn't the point of the game that you're sent by Odin because your ancestors or whoever was before you in Valheim, they failed their mission or they died?
You died. You are dead.
Oh, you are dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're dead?
You're dead?
Yeah, you are dead, and you go to Valheim and you beat all the bosses, and then the idea is you get resurrected.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Really? Okay.
I didn't know that either. Thanks for that, Pete.
So I was going to now just kind of push us onto like our pet peeves in the world, but we kind of covered this, I think. So I'm not going to. What I'm just going to say, we've kind of also covered updates and hopes and dreams as well. So one last topic, and I think you guys will agree with me on this. I was the one who identified this, right? There's the randomness of occurrence of loot. And what I mean by this is, for example,
RNG.
Not just RNG, it's more complex than that, because you'll start in the game and you need to find deer, and then deer will be very scarce, and then you'll find some deer, and then you'll eventually work your way up and get your deer hides you need, and then eventually you'll need boars, and then there's hardly any boars around, but eventually you'll work your way up and you'll get boars. But then later there's an abundance of deers and there's an abundance of boars, I think. And it seems to me that the game has this really clever mechanism where it displays to you stuff you need to hunt and find and scavenge for. And then eventually it's just everywhere. And I like that. I don't know if that's conscious or if that's just a bit of luck on my part, but that's such an amazing system.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like whenever you're searching for something, it's not there.
Yeah.
When you find it, it suddenly becomes abundant.
Yeah.
So you're always searching for something. But what if we're crazy and that's not an actual feature? It's just some kind of coincidence.
Sure
we're just going crazy. Yeah.
People are just listening to this like, what the?
They're like, what are they on about?
Hey, there's 10 deers there and I just spawned.
They're right there. That kind of happened to us when we were searching. Remember, for copper, we found so much. When we were searching for copper, we couldn't find any copper.
Oh, copper.
We were searching for tin. We found so much copper.
Yeah.
And no tin. So
But maybe it's just like crazy coincidences, and that
Probably.
I'm imagining like if the devs are watching, he's like,
Like,
Uh,
write
Did you
this
do
down,
this,
write
Jim?
this down.
yeah,
guys.
did you program this? Nice.
Good idea. Write this down, write this down.
One more great debate, and I saw this on Reddit, and I'm really excited to bring this up with you guys. When you make bronze, you combine 2 copper and 1 tin. Do you believe that that's wrong? Shouldn't 2 copper and 1 tin net 3 bronze? Because there's 3 pieces.
Well, no, but like it's an alloy, but not an alloy. But you have
But
to
that's
mix them to like.
But that's how it works in kind of real life, is you combine and with
No,
an
no,
alloy.
no, because they
keeps
don't.
them.
They don't each become a copper. You mix them, and then one becomes a copper out
Yeah,
of the mix.
one big piece. Yeah.
Of course.
But they're the same. That would be 3 times bigger. Because
What?
they're 3 times the more content. That would be a lot bigger. If you put 2 of one thing and 1 of another thing together, that becomes the net total of those 3 items together.
No, that's not how it works. You mix them together, and then it forms one. That's just the ratio.
It's not the ratio, but nevertheless, okay, let's discuss it from a game perspective.
That's the ratio in
It's
the
not.
game.
It's not. That's how it works. That's how it should work.
Turn the science lesson.
That's defying physics.
What do you think? Do you think it would be a nice change to make bronze mining and smelting better by giving the player at least 2 or 3 instead of 1? Because I found in our playthrough it was a real struggle and an absolute pain to get out of the Bronze Age.
Well, yeah, that's because you have to get efficient. You have to build like a factory type area to get, and you have to do other things in between, and eventually it becomes quicker. If anything, I wish that there was like a way to upgrade your smelter and kiln so you pump shit out quicker. That would be cool.
Right. Mods.
Yeah. You can do that with
everything.
mods. Yeah.
Solution to everything. Mods.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Let's move on to the penultimate topic of the episode. What I'd like to talk about is the upcoming update in detail. I'd like to ask one general question: is what do you guys want to see in future updates? And if you've got any specific thoughts, any specific things you'd like to be added to the game, maybe any major overhauls or quality of life changes. As we've mentioned, we understand that we're focusing on house building and cooking. If you have any ideas, maybe you could speak about some of your grievances in the game with like the Draugrs or the mobs or whatever. But for me personally, I'd like to see 2 little changes, at least, and they're quite simple. I think, first of all, add a second portal into the game. I mentioned this to you guys, right? And it's a portal that allows you to take ores through. So maybe it's a bit harder to build as a consequence. That might make it fair.
It would have to be a lot harder to build, in my opinion.
Okay, perhaps. Or maybe you could allow the player to choose whether they opt in or opt out into this disabling or portal travel. So give the player the choice, because it's almost like playing on hard difficulty when you don't want to use the portals. Give power to the player is what I say. I'd like to just see that little quality of life change. Wouldn't mind seeing that. That's one major thing I'd like to see.
Your
you
connection
froze.
is all
Yeah.
over the place.
Oh, yeah, you guys
you're
froze
back.
for me. You guys froze. Okay, and we are back. So, guys, what do you think? Start with Pete.
Yeah, about what you said. Yeah, I think it should be a lot harder to build, because it does in essence kill one of the gameplay loops in the game. If you have something that you can put ore through, it kills, like, it's part of the experience. But what if you have to go on some crazy journey through like a new dungeon to get the materials necessary to build this portal that you can carry ore through?
Sounds good.
Because there's this game called Outward, which you know about. It's an RPG where
Mhm.
in order to get mana, you have to go on some pilgrimage up a mountain so you can get source for mana. And it's a difficult journey, and then things open up. So what if you can do it like that, where the materials are hidden in a new difficult area, and then you can move ores through? If I would add anything, I'd like to see mounts. Like, I know we have ships, but I'd like to see mounts. Like, maybe you could ride boars or something like that. But I think what would be cool is if you could somehow tame the bosses, and you could like ride Akafir, for example, into battle, or even the
That'd be
Drake. Imagine if you could fly. That's a bit OP, but imagine if you could fly with some limitations. Or no.
That'd be awesome. Especially if you have a cape. Just
Yes, exactly.
fly with your
Especially.
Yeah.
You just riding the Elder might be a bad idea, though. But it'd be cool though, because if you could take control of them, they could, as you know, you can use the Elder to chop a lot of woodland down. He kind of indirectly does it, but imagine that you can control the Elder right this way, Mr. Elder.
And what if you want magic in the game? What if the magic you use is the one that the mounts are capable of? So you can only use it on a mount. So you can use the lightning for Akafir, for example, or the frost for the Drake. So because this game isn't created in such a way where you can easily access skills, you have to use standing stones, and then you can only use one. And so in this case, you would have a limitation on how you could use it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother topic as well, actually, and I'm going to quickly mention that. I think the standing stone system doesn't work, and I think the abilities are too boring, and they're not really powers, are they? I think even though they advertise them as such,
they're like attunements.
Attunements, essentially.
Yeah.
Like a tiny attribute shift almost. It's just, I'd like to see more, I think.
I was very disappointed with the Elder.
Yeah, I thought you would get like actual cool
the
powers or something.
Chopping trees faster.
Yeah.
You kill the Elder, you stick his head on the stone, and then you can hit a tree with one less hit.
Although you must admit the concept of the standing stones is really cool, and it's cool to see their heads on.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I was thinking, would it be even cooler if you could move the standing stones? Maybe you could put them near your base or something, and have the enemy's skulls and effigies around the base. That'd be good.
Well, I think the reason it's like this is because the idea is to build a main base close to them. I think that's the idea, and you can reset spawn if you want, if you're stuck somewhere, and then you're always close to a base.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So any other quality of life changes that you'd like to see or overhauls before we move on? Any ideas,
for
Rahaf?
me, it's the inventory space. I think it's fairly limited. I personally think that they should add a special inventory for your gear. So your outfit, it shouldn't take up space in your inventory. It should be its own separate thing.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah. Totally.
Doesn't have any downfalls.
But yeah, I think that's my only improvement I would recommend.
That's a really easy fix too, isn't it? Really, And that would just net you an extra 5 slots, perhaps, including the cape, or maybe 4, is it? But that's great. I agree. Inventory space is the most fragile in some sense.
I mean, it's really annoying, because sometimes you just want to pick up that specific item, but you can't. You have to drop.
You can go to the trader and buy the extra space if you want to.
Yeah, unfortunately, that just gives you like extra weight limit.
Oh,
so
not
it doesn't
space. Weight.
It doesn't give you actual slots. It just gives you extra space, because I've got that. Sorry, extra like weight limit. So
yeah. What if you had like some kind of object, like a box, which you can turn into a portal, and you can put like waste items that you don't actually want to get rid of. You put it in there, and it teleports to your chest back at your base, or something like that.
That'd be cool. They introduced that in Minecraft again. Sorry to mention Minecraft, but there's there's a chest system which teleports. They're black chests. I think they're called Elder chests, and that's a very cool system.
Yeah,
cool.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
What is it like? It's kind of like the Harry Potter cabinet.
Oh yeah, like Hermione's thingy. Yeah.
It's like you put something in and it's in the other one, and I think that's
that's
so cool.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, so we also kind of covered this. We've unfortunately covered a lot of the stuff I wanted to talk about, but the next thing I wanted to mention was traversing, sailing, and portals. One of which I wanted to mention more player options for portal changes, and I wanted to mention sailing. I guess we can talk about sailing because we haven't quite covered it.
Yeah.
Come on, let's give some props to the sailing. It's very good.
I love it.
It's really cool.
I like that they implemented wind, and it's really nice with the draw distance when you can see you're sailing and then you see your base, maybe your harbor forming, or if you built a lighthouse, you can see the lighthouse. And
Very nice.
I like that. We'll talk about this later, but I like that there's little things you can stumble onto in the ocean, and there's enemies. But I'll talk about that later. Yeah.
Little things.
Yeah.
There seems to be a nice steady progression system with boats. You start with the raft, you get the not the kayak, what's it called? The
Carva.
Yeah,
I think.
Carva, yeah.
And you get the other one, then you get the long ship,
which is
cool. And then you get like some other one more advanced than that, and it's just very cool.
There's something after the long ship.
There's only 3.
Yeah.
As of now.
Oh, well, there you go. That's amazing. That's a criticism.
Yeah, more ships.
Speedboats.
Yes,
Speedboats. Oh, another thing I just thought about quality of life, because we mentioned the longship, and then I thought we should get a horn, and like we should be able to like blow on it as we're when we reach a new land or something like that, or
Like
maybe
a
it has
real
the
fight,
effect to scare
yeah.
mobs or something like that. I don't know.
That'd be cool. That'd be really
I'd like to
cool.
see drawbridges, some systems that can be automated, like almost like redstone in
Yes.
Minecraft. Something that allows you to
Automate,
Yeah.
like maybe something with ropes. It doesn't have to be redstone, but like something with ropes and weights, and then you could actually, like, if you make a dock, you don't add like doors, which is stupid. You actually add something that can be lifted up, or
Hey, and in 10-player
awesome.
servers, that would be incredible, because you could have someone, if you're doing like a role play-esque kind of server, you could have someone actually dedicated as like the wiki, you know, who's just lifting the light. He's got the lighthouse. The bridge.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Imagine spending your time doing that.
That's your job.
That's your job.
Hey, role-playing servers are cool.
They are.
But
one thing I've
you
always
have
wanted to do was the
yeah.
flight simulator ones. I've always wanted to do that, where you actually have someone playing as
Those
taxi,
are
and
cool.
that sounds awesome. Yeah. So more automation. That's a nice little quality. Not even quality. That's a big overhaul change. But there are some really weird bugs in this game that need to go immediately. Like the boat sometimes gets destroyed for no cause, and we've experienced this, right?
Or it just vanishes.
It just vanishes. Yeah, it happened to me on my server as well. It literally just vanished.
And it's not like it's a little bug that you're like, oh damn it.
Yeah, then you have to build another.
It's crippling.
Yeah.
It is. You'll be on another island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like I understand. Like if you break your boat on the way, that's cool. You know, like then it's like a little RPG element where you get stranded, maybe. But if it vanishes, it's kind of like.
It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
Especially if it's the long ship and you need the iron nails to build it.
Oh yeah.
And you're in this random island. You haven't got iron. You haven't got the iron nails, so you're stranded. You're gonna have to make a drop. Yeah. It sucks basically.
Now, I haven't really got to the Stone Age yet, which I know is a big change in the game. From what I can gather, you get a lot of extra building blocks at this point. You get new gates, you get new stone, you get I think even new doors and new chests, everything, new beds, everything.
You get thrones. Yeah, you got a lot of.
Do you get new fences or new potential borders you can put around your house? Does anyone know?
I think you do not get new
No,
fences.
you don't.
No.
I've seen YouTubers and they didn't get it.
Fix it. I want to see better. Well, defenses is one way you could look at it, but most people resort to building moats, right? Moats are pretty much
moats are the end
most
all be
effective.
all. It would be cool if you can make traps.
Spikes.
Like if you make traps where if they fall into the moat, maybe they fall into some kind of spike that actually.
I did that
them.
on my server. I put spikes at the bottom of the moats, and
does it actually work? Does it actually kill them?
Does.
Oh, okay. I thought it didn't
them.
do anything. Okay,
really? Wow.
That's in the game then.
It kills them literally instantaneously.
Now it's a shame though. However, you can't like I don't know, use water to move to move the goods to a select drop point.
Don't they drown after 10 minutes?
No, they do. But I'm talking about like, again, in Minecraft, how like you can use the water to move items. That's something I used to do quite frequently. You would just use a water stream that would be just one block high from this side, and it would take the water down with all goods. Anyway, I thought that would be something nice.
I just thought of another improvement. You know, when a storm hits and the water, it gravitates.
Yeah.
It goes literally over your structure, and it kind of drowns your building.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating.
Plus,
every time a storm hits.
You can't actually stop it. It's
you can't
like
stop
it's a bug. Yeah,
it's a bug. Yeah, I tried building walls. I tried using the hoe to, levitate the floor. Build some kind of rocky structure to protect my little house, and nothing helped.
Yeah, you should be able to build either use the hoe to make the rock go up, or do something so if a wave hits it and it doesn't go over. Yeah.
I think that's an update they'll definitely do, because water hasn't really been implemented to interact with land properly yet. It kind of you can kind of make a little stream, but like it's not a nice flowing stream, and in addition, with like you mentioned, the water rising over the buildings is absurd. Like, fix that shit, guys. Come on.
Fix it, guys. Come on.
Okay, so final category, I think, before we conclude the episode is I'd like to talk about our most memorable moments playing Valheim, because it has been a blast, and I think the game's a close 10 out of 10, to be honest, with some reservations. It's very close to being the next, well, it kind of already is, the next big thing. Best game of the year for me, 2021, 100%. Haven't played anything else this year that's been that good.
Cyberpunk's crying in the corner because you said that.
That was 2020. So
Ended 2020.
Still not better. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
They're
it's still not
better.
So I'm going to talk about one moment of mine that I really enjoyed, and then you guys can jump on and bring out some ideas that you've got. So for me, this was when us three were playing together, and we traveled across and sailed to our first secondary island. We built the harbor before, and then we built the boat.
Oh yeah.
We all sailed across, and we came across this kind of like pseudo dark forest and mountain biome. It was really cool.
Yeah, we were on the border. Yeah.
We were on the exactly. This is important. So there was a border of such between the mountain and the forestry biomes, and we found this abandoned hut. It was going pretty easily. We were pretty happy. We were like, okay, let's renovate this hut, and we'll start scavenging and try to look for wolves. And that was, I think, our objective.
That was our objective. Yeah.
So then you guys were like, okay, we'll finish the hut, and I said, all right, I'll go out and just have a look around. So I think I went to look around, and then later on, as that unfolded, you guys said, well, you guys will go round the snowy biome to the right side. And then I said, screw that. I'm going to go take the boat. So I went back on the boat, left you guys there. Don't worry, that's not where the story ends.
Yeah, I know.
So I then went right round the island, got shipwrecked at some point because there was a storm and it was pitch black. And then I started running through the Black Forest back to you guys. And you guys, I assume, were just none the wiser. Just, yeah, I think that wall looks very nice there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, what happened to us is that I saw a wolf for the first time. I was like, let's kill it.
Oh, yeah.
And it torpedoed me. Yeah, it killed me. It took away like full health in one shot. And I was like,
they were
great.
strong, especially when you didn't have good armor.
Yeah, we ran back to the hut. We just stayed in there.
And then the highlighting point of the story is, while I'm traveling through the stark forest, I decided not to look back. I wish I did. Because as I came over the clearing and saw you guys outside your hut, or inside the hut you were at the time, I saw your name tag. I said, guys, you may want to come outside. To your dismay, there was a troll directly behind me, just swinging and battering.
You literally said, I brought the troll, by the way,
I
guys.
brought the troll back,
as if you did some kind of great service. You were hyping it up like you were going to go on this mission with the ship. You guys are being useless. I'll soul something.
Guys, I brought the troll back.
I brought the troll. Thanks, man.
Guys, I've got a friend. I've got a very big blue
It wasn't just a troll. It was a troll followed by like 5 grey dwarves, 1 shaman.
I think the moral of the story is, for me at least, just play the game with friends and make sure you bring a troll to your friends.
Yeah. Really nice housewarming.
What about you guys?
Well, unfortunately, this moment it happened when I was just with you, playing with you, Josh. But I'd still like to mention it because it was amazing.
Oh dear. Or I can clarify, actually. So my connection's a little unstable, so we've just had, unfortunately, a few pauses. But please continue, Pete.
I'll just start from the start. So yeah, this, like I said, Josh and I were looking for the trader because we've had enough. We wanted to find this guy already and buy some shit because we had a bunch of rubies, we had a bunch of gold, but we couldn't use it. So we ended up finding like this really gorgeous area, like where it had like a bunch of rivers, and then there was like a little crevice area where it turned into a lake before it went into the ocean. We couldn't find him, and then we decided to go in the opposite direction, and then we actually ended up going onto the ocean biome, and then a storm hit us, and then 2 serpents started following us.
Oh, fuck that.
And we were just sailing constantly, and we were trying to escape them, but they would not leave. And I remember like every 5 seconds, because sometimes they go underwater and you no longer see them, and every 5 seconds I was like, oh, okay, they're gone now, and then I could see them back up. No, they're still there. And then we saw like this tiny little island, like a really tiny one, and we were like, okay, let's stop over there, right? And we stopped on it, and we noticed that it had something new. It had something called an abyssal barnacle. I was like, well, we're here, we might as well mine it. We have the ship, we have storage. We started mining it, and then we noticed every time we were mining it, the whole island was like it had like an earthquake going on. It was vibrating hard, and it was almost like the island was moving. And I remember while I was still mining like an idiot, I was like, hey, it'd be cool. Like, imagine if this was actually not an island, if it was actually some kind of animal, and we're just mining his back. And then I finished mining it, and then just the island vanished, and we fell into the water, and we drowned. No, we didn't drown.
I didn't drown.
I didn't drown. I drowned.
But the whole scenario was complete luck as well, because the serpents would try to kill us, and then I was panicking so much. Pete, keep into the wind. We need to go away from the serpents. and then we're both like, the ship's on like 10% health. We have to land on this rock, I suppose, and it looks interesting. Let's go and do it. And then that's what led to us discovering that there's a big thing under the sea.
And it gets better. Then he had to sail back to get my corpse and to pick up my stuff. And then we went back, but we took a different route. And we found the plains. We found a new biome. We were like, oh, look, that's so cool. Look, there's a stone structure. Let's stop and check it out. Instantly, a death mosquito just kind of was like target locked.
Hi, guys.
And we actually got on the ship. And we were like going away at a pretty quick speed. And that thing didn't refuse to follow us. And it killed Josh. And then I had to go back and
Oh, my God.
So, like, this is one thing I love about the game and hate about the game. Like... It was cool, man. That was a great moment.
I bet the death mosquitoes were like fresh meat.
Literally.
Came at you. My funniest moment actually includes you, Josh, about the harbor thing. The harbor, I think that was literally the funniest thing.
I think I remember.
Yeah, so we both, you were showing me the harbor because you just built it, and I was, amazed by it. And we went into the Black Forest area, which was right next to the harbor. We were just searching for some supplies, and you were showing me the elders' resting place so we can spawn it. And right there was a troll, so we decided to fight the troll. And I think the troll smacked you.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Splat, I think.
It spat you, and your grave ended up in the water.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, did the grave like fly through the air into the water?
You were near the water, right? Josh, you remember it better than I do, I think.
I can't remember it. I just remember that I got killed like on this little rock right next to the big water. Yeah. The troll was then kind of glitched out and he walked into the water and standing on top of my corpse, right? He was standing on top of my items.
And then he was
just looking like this at me.
He wouldn't move. He just stood there the entire time.
And I'm just walking around with, I think I crafted a club, and I was like,
you were hitting it with a club.
And then I was just like, he's not moving.
He's not moving.
Oh, so he just stood still, like refusing to. Yeah.
Then I did like a tightrope walk, and I was like, maybe I could just grab my stuff. And the troll's just looking at me like this. It was not moving. And then he started attacking the rock at me, and I was like, calm down, you.
He hit you again as well.
I died twice. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. So he threw a rock at Josh. Josh died again. He had to walk all the way back, and he had to collect his stuff twice. Two different gravestones. One of the gravestones was in the water. So it was hilarious. It was really, really funny.
Oh, that's that's really dope. Actually, how the troll suddenly became sentient and realized he can just like stand there.
Essentially,
yeah. It's just another cool thing I thought of. So right after the part where you died, right at the plains, and I did this whole journey where I went back and I picked you up, etc. And it was cool because I felt like I was saving you. Then when we got back to the harbor. Like you were doing something else, but I looked in the distance and I could see like this hooded figure in like a black cloak. It was just looking at me, and I was like, "Who the hell is that? Is that a new mob?" And then it just vanished in like a fog, like a blue smoke fog or something like that. And that was really dope. And apparently that's Odin, and he pops up after you do something cool. He pops up in people's servers, just looks at you to see your progress, and then vanishes. And it just added to the atmosphere. It was cool.
Apparently Thor is in the game as well.
Yeah. When there's a storm and there's lightning popping down, if you look up for enough, you'll see him fly through the air.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool details in this game. Really cool.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's cool. Really? 4? Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can have his hammer if we trade with
No,
him some rubies and some
No.
gold and stuff.
Just shoot arrows at him so he
Thanks
falls down
for.
and you just collect whatever he drops.
Honestly, this conversation just makes me want to go play Valheim again. That's what Valheim does to anyone, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. I think I'm just gonna sum up the podcast right now. So, I've really enjoyed it. I think we achieved a good deep talk. It was a good discussion. We discussed a lot of various topics,
That's awesome.
mostly criticisms, but that's not a reflection of the game itself. I think we all love the game too much anyway. It's just right. Do you love the game, Rahaf?
I mean, no, Josh, I don't love the game. I
You
just
don't like the
spent
game?
80 hours, just criticizing the game. I just spent 80 hours because I fucking hate this game. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
that makes a lot
I
of
hate it
sense to
so
me.
much that I spent 80 hours just playing it. I hate it. I hate it.
So for me personally, I just want to thank you, Rahaf, for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me,
Thank you.
guys. It's been awesome.
Such a pleasure, and it's always lovely to have someone who's not Pete. No offense, Pete. It's just like it's just nice to have someone else. We've done this for 10 episodes now. We're always we take hours and hours and research and prep in these podcasts. So it's nice now to have a third person tag along. So thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's been awesome.
And I'm just going to quickly plug social media again. So follow us on Instagram at _Sauvignon_Blanc. Why? Just do it. And secondly, on Twitter at Sauvignoncast. And also
It's
on
gonna be
YouTube.
down here somewhere. It's gonna be down.
Everything is on screen if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening via one of our podcast platforms, everything will be hopefully easy to understand from there. So there we go. That's our deep talk with
Also,
Valheim.
for some reason, because we're still in the podcast, only streaming mindset, we haven't said this yet, but if you enjoy, do subscribe, right? Subscribe to the channel. Yeah, and leave a comment down below. Yeah, only if you want to. Yeah,
No pressure.
Just do it, guys. Just do it.
Clocks
free.
G45.
Just do
No
it.
pressure.
Just do it. Do it. Come on. Come on.
It's free.
It's free. No.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Sauvignon Blanc out.
Out.